Are 30 piano lessons a year ever enough? Absolutely not. 30 piano lessons, if you're doing the average of 30 minutes a week, which a lot of younger students do, you've got 15 hours of tuition a year. And unfortunately, with all the best intentions in the world, when you take those longer breaks, what will happen is most students, or a huge majority of students, will not practice. They will forget. Younger people tend to live very much in the moment and are happy to be free of the academic side of life for a few weeks and want to go and do fun things. They want to go out with their friends. They want to, they may be going on holiday, traveling a lot with family, which is great because we have to live life as well. Life is not just about the piano. In fact, the piano is about life. So we need both things. However, what troubles me, and this has hit me a lot this year as more and more students have been dropping lessons because of doing GCSEs, which again I understand, and then not wanting to come back for what amounts to several months. And my worry then is that the piano won't really have been touched much in that time. So this business of us working, private piano teachers working with the academic year, I don't think that's sustainable anymore. Not if you want optimum growth, optimum development as a pianist. Not if you want to really be able to play and be able to play confidently and competently at whatever level. I just don't think we should be thinking about the piano in the same way we think about academic subjects. Let me put it this way: if you're an athlete and you don't train for between 8 to 12 weeks, what's going to happen when you go back to training? How are you going to be? Are you going to be rusty? Are you going to be in peak condition? Are you going to be able to meet all your goals for that time? Or are you going to have lost a lot of fitness because you haven't been practicing? If you are a footballer at whatever level and you turn up for a match, you've done no training, the chances are you're not going to be playing that well. What we're asking our body and our mind to do when we play the piano is pretty complex. It's very physical as well as very mental, and those two things together are quite a tall order. And to really develop those skills, and we need continuity. So that doesn't mean you have to have a lesson every single week of the year, and it doesn't mean that, if you don't, that's the end of the world. But it does mean that you need to be, we can't really put it in these academic blocks. It's not the same as an academic subject. And where I think this goes wrong is that a lot of students are studying in school. So they're very much driven by the academic calendar. But this is a very different type of study. And we need to be practicing those movements, keeping the muscle memory going, keeping everything in our body, in our mind, as much as possible. So what would the ideal number be? Well, I'm moving to a minimum of 36 for any students that I teach that are of school age, which is not so many now, but a minimum of 36. And I think that an optimum number would be 42, because that allows for breaks throughout the year. Obviously, the teacher needs a break as much as the student. We're often, as well as teaching, practicing, performing. We might be adjudicating, working on summer schools, running courses. We're doing all kinds of things. We aren't just sitting here between 4 and 7 and teaching. So I feel that, yes, of course we need breaks as well, but do we need 12 weeks a year? Maybe not. Maybe some people really do want that, and perhaps that's an opportunity for students to go on courses, summer schools, one-day courses, piano days, a whole week summer school. These are things that I do. I run courses and I teach on summer schools. It's really encouraging to see students coming and really being keen and really wanting to perform. I run them for adults as well, and I run courses with my colleague, various colleagues actually. I have a course coming up in Cambridge with my lovely colleague Lewis Kesterton, sorry, tripped over the name there. And I'm also teaching on the St Andrews International Piano Summer School, Malta Piano, which takes place at St Andrews University at the beautiful Laidlaw Music Centre in Scotland in July. So we are doing many things, and it's very encouraging to see students of all ages come along to these different things. And there are so many people that love the piano. I think where we have a bit of a problem is the school age students, that both themselves and their parents, no fault of their own, but don't realise that this is not the same as an academic subject. We can't cram it. You know, you may have forgotten the last 3 chapters of your maths book. I don't know if you have maths books or if they have chapters anymore, which just goes to show, you see, if you don't use it, you lose it. However, I do know that you can cram that. You can really get that back quickly. It's really different with the piano. It will come back, but it will take an awful lot of work, and you'll feel like you've got to spend a lot of weeks trying to get back into and trying to get back to the level that you were. And I'm quite puzzled, really, how we've come to this way of thinking of it as an academic subject, because there are academic elements to it, of course there are, but I don't think we can treat it in the same way as an academic subject and be happy with those 30 weeks a year. Of course there are exceptions. There are students that are so motivated, so intrinsically motivated, that they just don't need to have a lesson every single week. And of course there are adults who are at a really high level who perhaps need to come along every now and again. I'm talking here about the sort of model of piano teaching through different age groups that people have become accustomed to, and I think we need to question, does that work? And I don't think it does.